ready for true happiness, for deep fulfillment, for feeling alive, on purpose, and in control of your life again? It's time to be the bold, brilliant, beautiful woman you were born to be. Welcome to the Purpose Girl Podcast. I'm women's happiness and life purpose expert Karen Rockkind, and I'm going to teach you how to live on purpose, feel alive, and be happy in every aspect of life. I'm going to get real about my life and interview women who are living on purpose so that you can finally live yours. Welcome to the show.
Hello, my purpose girls. Since it's my first solo episode this year, I'm so excited to connect with you about the most important, beautiful, fulfilling, fabulous thing that you are going to do this year. You're going to live your purpose this year. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I will not take no for an answer, right? I will be on your shoulder speaking to you all year long because last year was hard, right? Like last year felt really freaking hard. Whether you were locked down, you lost your job, you lost loved ones. I mean, I have a friend who lost her father to COVID. And then she herself got it because, of course, she wanted to be with him in his final days. And then, of course, there was so much in the energy field, the passion, the righteous anger with the racism and standing up and saying, no more, we will not accept this, and needing to look at ourselves, right? Like, where is racism in me? I needed to look at myself. I still need to look at myself. I am grateful for friends, for colleagues, for random people I don't know on the internet who are showing me and teaching me, seeing so many people rise up in their righteous anger really starts to shake our nervous system. And then with the election, those of you in the United States, or from what I'm hearing from my clients and students all over the world, the U.S. election, what's happened with U.S. democracy, people storming the Capitol, it's freaking shaking our nervous system, making a lot of us just want to go back to bed, right? But we will not allow it. I will not let you. I will not let you. This episode of the Purpose Girl Podcast is the episode for you to get your purpose going in 2021, for you to make it bigger, for you to make yourself and your purpose bigger in 2021, for you to say, I will accept nothing less than living in my full radiance, my full power, my full purpose, and making the difference that I came to in this lifetime. Because sisters, with everything that has shaken us to the core over the last year, it shows us what is important. It shows us how we must rise. It shows us that we are needed more than ever. And so in this episode of the Purpose Girl Podcast, I'm going to share with you first my numbers, something I don't usually do, but my revenue, my financial numbers, my impact, so that you can see that if I did it, you can do it. And then we're going to talk about several things that you must do. I'm going to ask you to commit, to decide while listening to this podcast. Because sister, you are needed now. I cannot emphasize that enough. This is going to be a doozy of a podcast. You want to make sure that you are listening to the entire thing. I am so fired up. I am so excited, as you can tell. So let's get your purpose going. Let's get your purpose going. We're not taking no for an answer. Woo! Yes. All right. I don't usually talk about my numbers, right? I don't usually share revenue. I don't usually share money because I have my own money stories here, right? Like, I don't want you to think that I'm doing this for the money. I don't want you to think that I'm all about the money. And at the same time, what's needed now are women making more money. Because as women have more money, what do we do with our money? We give more. We share more. We hire more people. Frankly, we hire more women. We hire more women of color, more women who are LGBTQ. We are more inclusive and supportive. And frankly, we need to be the ones who are the role models for our daughters and our sons and the next generation. For the women coming out of college right now or out of high school who are wanting to be an entrepreneur or wanting to rise up in a career of their dreams, who are they looking at? They're looking at us. And so if we are not stepping fully into our purpose, into our power, and yes, doing so in pleasure, in radiance, in aliveness, in happiness, in joy, where are they going to learn it? Where did we learn it? We didn't. We're making up the rules as we go, right? Like I've talked about my mother and my grandmothers on this podcast. One of my grandmothers was a stay-at-home mom, an incredible, beautiful woman. Another who was a Holocaust survivor and came from a rich, wealthy family in Austria, never thought she would have to work a day in her life. But of course, her family lost everything when Hitler invaded Austria with the Holocaust. And she came to the United States with nothing. And she worked as a school assistant in a classroom her whole life until she was, I don't know, I'd have to ask my mom, maybe in her 70s. It was beautiful to witness her. And of course, she took beautiful care of my mom and my uncle. And then my mom, what was the role model for her? My mom wanted to be a doctor, but my mom would say women didn't do that in her day. Now, of course, a few women did, but most women didn't because there was still the expectation that she would be home when I got home from school, that she would make dinner, right? And so one of the wonderful things about her marriage with my dad wanted to see her soar and go all the way. And because of the roles that they each knew growing up, he still wanted her to make dinner every night. That was just part of the deal. My mom became a teacher. She began as a high school teacher and hated it. And so she started teaching college. And my mom was the only woman in her math department. And she was the youngest. And they told her that she made less. They made a deal of it, these men. And she wasn't going to take that sitting down. And so my mom worked and became the head of that math department, the chair of the math department. Yes, she did. Applause for Gladys, please. My mom, Gladys. And she paved the way for more women. My mom ended up flying all over the country teaching at different conferences about how you teach math with new technology. She is incredible. And that was my model. But I always heard from her, women didn't become doctors. But she would say to me and my sister and my brother, of course, we can do anything that we want. Each generation is looking at the generation before as those who are setting what that glass ceiling is. And sisters, it is our time to say there is no glass ceiling, right? All right, I want you right now while you're listening to this podcast, I don't care if you're driving, I don't care if you're vacuuming, I don't care if you're sitting at your desk pretending to work. I want you right now out loud to say, no more excuses. No more excuses. No more excuses. Better yet, I want you to flip it. Because of the way the brain works, when we say no more excuses, the brain actually might hear excuses, right? It's like if I say to you, don't think of a purple elephant on black and white grass. What are you thinking of? Of course, you're thinking of a purple elephant on that grass. So we're going to first say no more excuses, and then we're going to flip it and say to our brain right now out loud, I'm living my purpose in 2021. I'm living my purpose in 2021. I'm going for my purpose fully in 2021. You're going to say it to yourself. You're going to say it over and over and over again. And now I want you to think about, who are you doing it for? Who are the younger people who need to see you living fully? Or who are your friends who need to see you going for it fully? Who are the women in your community or the people who need to see that? Your nieces, your nephews, who are the people who need to see you as the role model? I know that you are one of the people who need to see me as the role model. So even though I don't usually talk about numbers, I'm going to right now because I want you to see what is possible for you. I want you to know that if it's possible for me, it is possible for you. So last year in 2020, I made $233,000. Okay? $233,000. Now, when I was in corporate America, my final salary in corporate America was $150,000. And I was terrified to leave corporate America. I remember when I first had the idea for Purpose Girl, when I first knew I wanted to empower women to go live their purpose, I was making $123,000. And I thought, there's no money in empowering women. That's what I used to say to myself all the time. I'll go broke. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'll have to live on less. I'll have to live on $50,000 or $60,000 or maybe nothing. Maybe I'll just have to do it on the side. Have you ever had any of those thoughts about your purpose, whatever it is? let me be testimony to you right now that you not only can make whatever you're making in the job that you don't love, living your purpose, you not only can make it, you can make double. Okay? You can make double. Will it happen right away? Maybe not. Will it happen? Yes. And what I've been doing with my clients is actually teaching them how to speed up the process. When I started, I did make $100,000 right away within the first 2 years, but it's taken me too long to double that number. And so now that I know how to do it, I want to teach you how. Like, screw this BS. And what am I going to do with that money? First of all, I'm like, we're putting money away for Shay's college right now, and we pay for my stepson's college. Great. That has to be done. 2, I've got things I want to do in the house. Mama wants a hot tub, and I'm putting money away for a beach house. Not going to lie. And 3, I'm already donating to organizations. I want to see more women of color be able to go to college. So that's where I'm putting my money. All right. So when women have more money, we do more. We do more for our children. We do more for the community. We do more to raise up all boats. Let's be clear about how I made that money. It was 100% living my purpose. 100% doing work that feels good. 100% doing work that makes me feel alive and I love. Like, look at this. I have the best job in the world. I get to talk to you about living your purpose and feeling alive. Yesterday, I gave a talk to 150 people, mostly women, about elevating. The speech was called Elevate You. I got paid to do that. Like, I have the best job in the world. But this is my purpose. We're going to figure out, if you don't know what your purpose is, let's figure it out. Okay. You need to call me. You need to get on my coaching schedule. Like, you need to join one of my courses. Let's do this year. And if you know what your purpose is, but you're afraid in any way, then you definitely need to get on my coaching schedule. All right. I made this gorgeous amount of money for my family, 100% doing work that I love. Let's talk about more numbers. I had more than 100,000 downloads of the Purpose Girl podcast last year. Thank you to all of you for being part of that. 100,000 downloads of the Purpose Girl podcast. The Purpose Girl podcast reached top 20 in over 20 countries last year. Reached top 20 in mental health and self-help in countries like Iceland, Ghana, Mexico. I mean, what a freaking honor. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I got to serve 93 women with coaching and courses last year. 93 women, almost 100 women who now have more confidence, more aliveness, who know their purpose, who are taking steps, who are following it, who are out doing big, badass things in the world. Women like Jen and Diana, who were on my podcast, you could go hear their stories of being in my empowered group and how they're now making a difference. The ripple effect, each one of them started women's groups after working with me, discovering their purpose and going to do it. So the ripple effect, I worked with 93 women, and then how many people did they work with? Holy cow, this is massive. This is massive. I taught 47 people positive psychology last year. 47 change agents who are now, first and foremost, living in their own well-being, taking their own flourishing to the next level, resetting their own emotional mastery, improving their relationships, living their purpose, knowing how to work with their mind in order to not go down the dragon hole of crap that our mind does to us. 47 students. And then think about the ripple effect. One of those students is a veterinarian. Did you know veterinarians are one of the highest suicide rates of professions in the world? I would have thought veterinarians just love themselves, right? I would have thought veterinarians just love their life. I mean, puppies and horses and dogs, it's amazing. And it's also hard and heartbreaking. And so he's a veterinarian, also has been in recovery from alcoholism for a number of years. And now he studied positive psychology, and he has spoken in multiple places over the last year to veterinarians in order to impact their well-being. Do you see the ripple effect of me getting to live my purpose? I can't even quantify all of the numbers. It's beyond, it blows my mind. It blows open my heart. Like, this is all from living my purpose, love. 100% from living my purpose. And let's be clear about when all these numbers happened. In a year when we had a global pandemic, when we were shut in our homes, when we had friends and family who were ill or, God forbid, passing away of COVID, when our nervous systems were awry, when we ourselves were looking at our own biases and places we needed to improve and learning, when we were in the midst of an election where people got mean and nasty and our country's democracy was at stake, where we were working hard to get out the vote, where we have been handed lies and lies and lies and what that does to our nervous system. And personally, in a year where I was exhausted from being pregnant and in the third trimester, when I had been diagnosed with vasa previa, a life-threatening pregnancy condition, very rare, that is one of the leading causes of stillbirth, where I wasn't allowed to exercise, wasn't allowed to orgasm, wasn't allowed to basically do anything for fear that if I did, my sweet baby would die in utero. In a year when my son almost did die at delivery because he lost half of his blood at birth. In a year when I took 2.5 months off from maternity leave. Now, if I can do this, so can you. If I can do all of that in 1 year, one crazy ass year, so can you. And so you will. And so you will. Here's the deal. I am no different than you. I'm a purpose girl. You're a purpose girl. We're all purpose girls. Like Oprah. You're a purpose girl. You're a purpose girl. Okay. There's nothing different about me than you. When we go back in my life history, you know, if you've listened to the Purpose Girl podcast, you know that I was abused early in my life. At 17 years old, my first love physically abused me. It was her way of keeping me in the relationship. You know that I went through divorce when I was 26. You know that I was robbed at gunpoint and almost lost my life. You know that I was with a friend when he nearly drowned to death and I couldn't save him. And then his son tried to sue me. You know that I've been through multiple miscarriages. You know life ain't been easy. Okay, so I share all of that, not for your pity, please. I'm good. I got it. And when I need to cry, I will reach out to you. I'll reach out to any woman who will let me lean into her, right? That's one of our biggest tools. I share all that because my life hasn't been easy. And yet, if I can be sitting here and saying that in the craziest year ever, personally and globally, if I can earn that money, doing what I love, making a huge impact that has ripple effect around the globe, then my love, so can you. No more excuses. Instead, what are we saying? I'm living my purpose in 2021. Now, how did I do it? You've heard me say this before, but I cannot say it enough. It begins with a decision. A decision. Not a maybe, not I'd like to, not I want to, not I hope to, a decision. And listen, I love hope. Hope is the great igniter of goals. But right now, I want you to go a step beyond hope. I want you to make a decision. It's done. One of my coaches once taught me the words, it is non-negotiable. So I want you to fill in this sentence right now. It is non-negotiable that I blank. It is non-negotiable that I live my purpose in 2021. It is non-negotiable that I make a difference in the lives of LGBTQ teens in 2021. It is non-negotiable that I make $100,000 in 2021. It is non-negotiable that I make $1 million in 2021. Whatever it is, at this moment, you are going to make it non-negotiable. You're going to make a decision. That's the next thing I want you to fill in. I decide that. I decide that. Now, it might actually be the same sentence as it's non-negotiable, but what we're doing here is we're using neuroscience to cement this. So the way that the brain works is whatever you think over and over again becomes habitual. It's called an automatic negative thought, ANT, an ant, right? It's like having little ants in your brain. And do you know that whatever we think today, 90% of whatever you think in one day is an overlap from yesterday? Because the majority of what we're thinking are thoughts that are so habitual, we're not even aware of it, right? Like, do you ever sit down to meditate or to play with your kid or to make a phone call, or you're driving on the road, and before you know it, you aren't even present. You're not where you are, but your brain is off in some story that you told yourself yesterday. And listen, my brain does this too. One of my stories is about women not liking me. I know it's crazy because look what I do for a living. But that is like an old tender story of the little girl. And she took me down on Sunday. My brain went into such a tizzy. This is what our brain does. And so what we are doing instead, the more you say, I'm deciding to go for my purpose in 2021. I'm deciding to do it fully in 2021. I'm deciding that it is non-negotiable that I impact 100 people in my business in 2021. It's non-negotiable that I make 6 figures in 2021. It is happening. The more you say that to yourself, what you're doing is you are rewiring your brain around this new story. The brain just repeats whatever you think the most. Okay. Now, there are a lot of examples in life that can take you off track. I get it. And I share that because I'm human. I'm just like you. I want you to see that if I can have this kind of impact, still having the crazy brain, the cray brain, so can you. When you keep repeating, it's done. I'm deciding. This is happening. I've made a decision. Yes, yes, yes. And then you celebrate it and you repeat it and you celebrate it. It's happening. It's happening. Yes, 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 yes. You're rewiring your brain and you're not letting that other voice win. Okay? You're not letting that other voice win. There is a lot of deep work that I do with clients to pull out the story that I do with myself, rewriting that story, learning self-compassion, learning the tenderness and love inside, creating the sisterhoods for you to lean in and have people who hear you and listen to you and hold you when that story pops up. All of that is vitally important. And that's why I do that in my coaching. And in this moment, you can still decide. Because if my voice still pops up, then so will yours, right? It's not that it really, I think, ever goes away. It's just that we learn to work with it more. We learn to love it. We learn that it's part of what makes us brilliant in our purpose, right? Because maybe the more I share that my voice still pops up, maybe that gives you permission to say, oh, well, if Karen can do all this and she still has that voice, then I can do it too, right? Way too many women I know are waiting. Are you a woman in waiting, right? Like not waiting for the prince or princess, maybe you are, but a woman in waiting that when I get that certificate, when I learn that skill, when I get that degree, when I have more confidence, then I will live my purpose. No more. Okay, because we're going to do this authentically. We're going to do it imperfectly. All of that kills your purpose. All of those thoughts kill your purpose. I know, because it tries to kill my purpose all the time. And what I have to do is I have to hold myself. I have to lean in. I ended up telling my best friend, these are the thoughts I'm having. And I even had these same thoughts about you today. And let a friend hold you. Even during COVID, hold you she didn't actually hold me, but connecting with me, talking with me, giving me love, giving that little part of me love. And then keep repeating. Sister, you are needed now. You're needed to be big and bold now. We're not letting that voice win. It begins with a decision. As my coach says, decide and do, decide and do. I love it. Number 2, what did I do to get these numbers? I got help. As a coach, I always have a coach. It's super important. But I took a few years and I worked with a sensuality coach, which was really important for me at the time. Really important to get into my femininity, my sensuality. But frankly, to make the impact that I want to make in the world, it was time to work with a business coach, a purpose coach, someone who was going to help me take my purpose and make a bigger impact, impacting more people, impacting bigger ripple effect, and impacting my bottom line. And so I hired a coach last year. And I paid a lot of money. I was like, oh my God, are you kidding? What are you doing? You're about to have a baby. You need to buy strollers. Like, you do not need to spend money on a coach right now. And yet that first voice of I'm deciding said, yes, you do. because I needed someone to show me what I didn't know. I needed someone who had been there, done that, who was 3 steps, 10 steps ahead of where I am in making her impact, 3 steps, 10 steps ahead of where I am in her financials in order to show me how it's done, right? Like I needed a mentor. And so she helped show me, here are the places where you can expand, here are the places you can grow. And under her guidance, I created the Goddess on Purpose program, which now I never had like an entry program for people to work with me. In order to work with me, you had to immediately jump into spending thousands of dollars. I created a program, both a DIY version that you can do at home and the live version, was able to have 55 women through it in 2020 alone. It was so powerful. Under her guidance, she helped me take it to the next level. Okay, once someone goes through the starter program and they want more and they want to create a purpose business, so many people say to me, how do I do what you did? How do I create it? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't teach that, right? So many people say to me, I want to know what you did. I want to do it too. I didn't have a structure for that. I didn't have a program for that. So she helped me create it. And I'm thrilled to say I've had 2 rounds of my program, Goddess on Fire, 14 women. The current group of amazing, beautiful, powerful, on purpose women, I didn't even promote. Right? It's a program you haven't even heard me talk about. I didn't promote. But she helped me put these structures in place. And then for this year, I've decided I'm 7-figure. That's it. I'm 7-figure. I want to put a lot of money toward the causes that matter to me. I want to put a lot of money away for college. I want to take care of my family in a new way. And I want to show you what's possible. Now, it's a little uncomfortable for me to tell you that because I'm not all about the money. I am way more about the impact. But I'm sharing that with you because I decided. And so what did I do this year? I doubled my investment in myself. Scary as fuck. Spending 20 grand with my coach. That is scary. And she is, in 1 week of 2021, blowing my mind open with possibility. And I'm like, I want to be like her, my own version of her. And I know she gets afraid. I know she has all that. And she does it anyway because she knows that she's on a mission. And so am I. And so it cost me double to work with her from my coach last year. And I was like, oh my God, this is a year of college. And she said to me, Karen, in order to make 4 years, boom. And she's right. And I will tell you that in just 5 days of working with her, I have already made back my investment because she is helping me to see my blind spot. She's helping to mirror all that I'm capable of. She's helping me stick to my vision, to my passion, to my purpose of inspiring millions of women. If I don't go big like her, I can't inspire as many women as I possibly can. So she's holding me to that. Blows me away. And so number 1 is you're going to decide, right? You're going to decide it is non-negotiable. I must, I am. Number 2, you're going to get help. Find a mentor who has done it. Find a coach who has done it. You could get help from friends. I just happen to find that unless they're friends who are doing what you want to do, right? If you want to become a CEO or a manager in a financial company and that person is not, they may not be as well able to mentor you and support you. So find someone who has done it and who's going to lovingly hold you, who's going to mirror your greatness for you, who's going to hold you accountable and put that loving fire under your beautiful booty and have you go for it fully. And that's number 3. I went for it. That's it. I just did. It was non-negotiable. Now I had a date, right? Because I knew when I was having my baby, cesarean section, I knew. And so I knew I need to make a certain amount of income. I want to have all my impact by this date. And that can help, right? Another part of working with someone is they will hold you to your goals. They will keep reminding you. And so I had my date and that really worked for me. I knew how much money I wanted in the bank for us to be able to go on maternity and paternity leave. And I just continued no matter the failure. So when I was diagnosed with vasoprevia, oh my God, I was so mad at God. I got into bed. I screamed. I yelled, how could you do this to me? I was so sad, so full of grief. You could learn all about it in previous episodes. And I could have let that just stop me. But I also held on to the absolute knowing and faith that my baby was meant to be here and I am meant to be a mother and that this spirit is meant to come through me and will live. And so I'm going to do everything in my power to make it so. So I did all the research around vasoprevia. I joined the groups. I advocated for my baby and for myself and saved his life. And when he almost died at birth, I held that faith So even with all that failure, I kept going with my business because I said, that baby's going to need diapers. That baby's going to need food. I'm having a maternity leave. That baby is going to live and thrive. And so I worked it. I went for it. When I first launched Goddess on Purpose, I'll tell you, I didn't have it all figured out. I knew that when you do this program, you were going to walk away clear on your purpose. You're going to walk away clear on who you are. You're going to walk away already taking steps and being visible and vocal and out there in the world with your purpose. But I didn't have the curriculum figured out. Stop waiting for everything to be figured out. I just did it. I said, I'm going to teach you a program and you are going to get so much out of it and it's going to rock your world. And then just before it started, the day before, I sat down, I meditated, and whoosh, the entire curricula came through me. And women loved it. Women loved it so much they did it a second time. So stop waiting to have it all figured out. Just go do it. The other thing is that when I first launched the program, 5 women signed up right away, and then crickets. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a total failure. I promised women a sisterhood. There's no sisterhood. Crickets. I was humiliated. It was horrible. When I feel humiliated and embarrassed, I just want to run back to bed, pull the covers over my head, and just go away from the world. But because I had that coach, she didn't let me do it. She lovingly held me through Zoom because of COVID. And she lovingly held me with her words. And then she lovingly held up a mirror and reminded me of who I am. And that this isn't about my selfish ego of embarrassment. No, this is about my purpose, empowering every woman that I can. And so get back on purpose. That's why I love purpose so much. It's the antidote to self-doubt. Get back on purpose because there's a woman who needs to hear and needs to be invited right now to join Goddess on Purpose. And sure enough, then the program filled 20 women. Right? I went for it, even when it was hard, even when it seemed like a failure. And that's what you're going to do too.
Okay, so here's where we're at. 3 easy steps. 1, decide. Right in this moment. You already promised me. You already promised yourself that you are living your purpose this year, or you've decided that you are getting love this year. You've decided that you are loving your body this year. You've decided you're writing your book this year. Decide. Right? And with that decision, the reason I love purpose is that you can keep coming back to your why, to why it's important to you. Right? So when I have had failures, and I have had plenty in Purpose Girl, what gets me back out of bed or gets me over my embarrassment or any of that is that I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for you. Like, yeah, I'm doing it for me too, right? Because it's fun and it lights me up and I get to enjoy my work and all of that. And I'm here for a mission. I am here to live out my purpose and to inspire the masses of women that I was born to. Okay, so you're just going to decide. Number 2, you're going to get support. That's it. If you want to become CEO, then find a CEO who's going to mentor you. You want to get ahead in your business, your company, your organization, find that person who's inspiring, who's 2 steps ahead of you, and ask them to mentor you, period. Get a coach. You want to go and follow your dreams this year. You want to figure out your purpose. You want to really make sure that you're going for it, that you are out there and doing it, sharing your voice, starting your blog, getting customers, creating your coaching business, starting that bakery, whatever it is, get a coach, right? I have one. I always have one. Contact me. Let's see if we're a match to work together. I mean, you listen to me on the podcast, so let's do this thing. I am not messing around anymore. Women's leadership is needed now. What we have seen in the world over the last however many years, frankly, hundreds of years, hundreds with slavery, and how the distorted greed takes people down. And now we've seen this so recently here in the United States, in other places in the world. So what's needed now are women, your love, your wisdom, your genius. You're needed now. No more messing around. And once you decide and you're on purpose, that investment in a mentor or coach is going to pay you right back. I've seen it with my clients over and over again. And get yourself a sisterhood. Get yourself a squad that is cheerleading you on. I will tell you, I joined a mastermind with this new coach, and already, just in these couple of weeks of the new year,
I have shared celebrations with them, wins with them, and they're like, oh yeah, you did. You got this. Go for it. Yeah, I gotcha. Sending me GIFs and emojis and all the kind of good stuff that just juices me up, makes me feel alive, lets me know I'm heard, lets me know I'm supported. It's magic. And that's it as women. We're magical. And then number 3, you're going to go do it. That's it. You're just going to take action. Imperfect, messy action. I didn't know what I was doing the first podcast episode. I didn't know what I was doing at all. But I picked up the microphone and I shared from my heart. And look at all of you now. I think we've had like 270,000 downloads. I don't know, you guys have made the Purpose Girl podcast rank top 20 in 30 countries. Like, hello. Like now Josh and I are talking about teaching a podcast class because I want you out there. If that's a dream of yours, I want you to go do it. By the way, if you're interested in that, send me a DM so I know how many people are interested. Either get on my Instagram at Karen Rockhind or Facebook or email me so I know. Okay, so those are the 3 steps. Now, I want you to get into what is meant for you this year. What it is that you truly, truly, truly desire. With resolutions, they don't work. And goals can often just, in your mind, kind of feel hard. Well, as women, we're juicier than that. As women, we attract, we magnetize. And we attract and magnetize from our energy. And so our energy has to be vibrant, right? When you're angry, everyone feels it. And when you're joyful, you radiate and everyone feels that and you lift everyone up. And that just shows you that women's energy is where it's at. And so what we want to do is we want to be in a place of feeling. That's what's going to tell you what it is that you desire this year. Not a resolution that's based on some sort of lack, like, I want to lose weight. I just hate my job, so I'll get a new one. Those aren't resolutions. Those aren't goals that are going to work. Rather, we want to set you up for success and get into the feeling of what you want this year. Right? We don't know exactly what it's going to look like. The person of your dreams might look completely different. Think about Glennon Doyle. She didn't know that the person of her dreams would be a woman. If you know who she is, she wrote Untamed, amazing book. But the person of her dreams is a woman because she got into the feeling of what she desired in a relationship. A client of mine had no idea that nutrition would be her purpose. Like, no idea. But when she lost weight and people kept asking her, how did she do it? She found herself so lit up telling people how she got rid of the last 40 pounds of baby weight that she said, I got to do this for like this feeling. This is where it's at. So she went and she got her certificate in nutrition to help other people. Like, this is amazing. You got to go by the feeling. So I want you to join me. I want you to sit back in your chair. If you're able to, I want you to close your eyes. If you're driving heavy machinery, then please do not close your eyes. But if you are able, then just sit back and close your eyes for a moment. And take a nice deep inhale in through your nose, opening up space in your belly, in your lungs, every part of you. And then a big exhale out. Just releasing any tension, any stress. Just let that go. And take another couple of deep breaths in. Inhaling deeply into your belly, opening up every cell of your body for juicy goodness, for nourishment, for hope and possibility and purpose and love. And then a big exhale out, releasing. Just let it go. Take another deep breath at your own pace, just opening up your body for all the juiciness that wants to come to and through you, knowing that you are a divine channel. You are here to receive. You are here to love. You are here for purpose. And I want you to place one hand on your heart and one hand on your womb space. Breathing into this beautiful connection circuit within you from your heart to your center of creation, to your center of love, to your center of creation. And I want you to imagine that we're having a big Purpose Girl party at the end of 2021. And you walk into that party. How do you feel about yourself? How do you feel in life? At the end of that party, at the end of this year, at our big party, and we should have that post-COVID, of course, how do you feel? How do you feel about your life? How do you feel waking up every day? How do you feel about yourself? How do you feel about your career? How do you feel? feel into that for a moment. In as many words, do you feel excited and lit up every day, or almost every day, right? Do you feel so honored that this is the work you get to do in the world? Do you feel alive? Do you feel peaceful? Do you feel radiant? Do you feel excited? Do you feel confident? And now I want you to make a statement out loud. I am. Own that feeling right now by saying, I am. I am confident. I am a woman who wakes up every single day excited. I am alive. I am radiant. I am at peace. Even if it's not 100% true for you, when you say the words to yourself and you say them out loud, every cell begins to hear it and feel it. And what that then does is get your brain thinking and in direction of what it is that you desire, those feelings. And now I want you to imagine you're coming to this amazing, so fun party. Where are we having it? Are we having it in Miami at the Versace Mansion? Are we having it in Fiji, Costa Rica? Where are we having this party? Okay, so you're walking into the party. And when you walk in, you need to make a statement. I am a woman who. I am a woman who. Fill in that sentence. At the end of 2021, you're a woman who. This is all about who you desire to become this year. And of course, knowing this isn't about becoming someone other than you are. This is about becoming the most fully expressed, fully alive version of yourself, including the mess. You get to fully express your mess. You have full permission to do it imperfectly. I'm a woman who. I'm a woman who lives my purpose. I'm a woman who is going for it fully. I'm a woman who's an author. I'm a woman who is in love. I'm a woman who contributes to this world. I'm a woman saving the earth. I'm a woman running for office. Whatever it is for you, awesome. Claim it. Claim the woman that you are becoming. And now I want you to feel into, and what do you have this year? What will you have experienced? What will you have created? With that, what have you done? What would just light you up to have this year? Would it light you up to have a hot tub? Would it light you up to have a vacation? Even with COVID, you can get an Airbnb 2 hours away. Would it light you up to have space? Would it light you up to have a meditation practice? Would it light you up to have a coach? Would it light you up to have an empowered sisterhood? What would light you up? What would light you up to do? You get to be in this dreaming place for all of January. And then I want you to decide, and I want you to take action. And your action is going to be imperfect. It's going to be one small step. You're going to take one step. The thing is, we know from the research that often our steps are too big. We think, oh, I'm going to write a book. Okay, so my first step is to write the first chapter. Nope. Your first step is to open the computer and write the sentence, "This is my book." That's your first step. I have officially started my book. That's your first step. And then you are to celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. And that's why I love having a sisterhood. And if you want that sisterhood, then make sure that you are contacting me and you're joining a Purpose Girl sisterhood. That's what we do. We celebrate each other. We believe in each other. We take each other higher. And so, my love, this is your wake-up call, right? We've been through a year that showed us that we don't know what's going to happen in life, that life is short, that we can't expect a company to control our destiny. We can't. We can't control what happens in the world. What we can control is how we respond. What we can control is what we do. What we can control is what we take from it, the juiciness that we take from even the most difficult situations to rise up and thrive. What we learned this year was what was important, the people that we love, the work that we do, the purpose that we have, the impact that we can make. That's what's important. And that's what we get to do. And so let this whole past year be a wake-up call that your time is now. We literally have seen what happens when greed and distortion and lies take over the world. Women are needed now. Women are needed now. You are needed now. I cannot wait to see you rise. With that, my love, thank you for listening to this episode of the Purpose Girl podcast. I can't wait to hear what you do. Send me a message. Tell me how this impacted you. And let me know that you want to join a sisterhood. And we got you, babe. And of course, share this podcast with every woman you know. That's how we change the world, one woman at a time. With that, my love, may you live purposefully. May you love yourself. May you rock it out this year. May you love your life, baby. Bye for now.